So he looked in my face and he told me, he said, we don't need another black woman in rock and roll.
Maybe it's not only Mary J. that you hear when you see my face. Tina's on extended holiday. Jimmy told me what to play. Alanis said that it's okay.
.1 FM WFDU. Jimy Bleu here with Codebleu every Tuesday afternoon from 1 to 3, 4, 5. I'm just so excited to have this guest in the house I'm going to speak to that y'all are really going to like. Her name is Sheila Jackson Hardy. She's a director, filmmaker, and she did this film that has just got me going crazy. It's called Nice and Rough, Black Women in Rock. And when I say black women in rock, I'm talking about rock music that you ain't used to thinking of black women having to do any business being in. So, yeah, we're going to get into the real deal of what's going on with that. And it's happened to go in tandem with Women's History Month, so I'm really excited about that, too. Hey, Sheila, are you there?
Yes, I'm here, Jimmy.
How's it going, lady?
It's going great.
Good, yeah. I'm really excited about this film. I'm glad we was actually able to do this. Before we even get into the film, why are these women, why do you think they're relevant?
I think it's relevant because music is such an incredible form of expression. And rock music in particular is a form of just expressing the innermost feelings that we have, and a lot of the most powerful feelings we have, from love all the way to rage, you know, with the punk and the metal rock. And I think that black women have something to add to that dialogue. We've always had something to add to that dialogue, and we've always been a part of that dialogue, but just not been acknowledged as such.
Take my hand, come and take my hand.
WFDU 89.1 FM, speaking to Sheila Jackson Hardy about her film Nice and Rough, Black Women in Rock. Matter of fact, Nice and Rough, Black Women in Rock. Where'd you get that title? Because that sounds like a contradiction, Nice and Rough.
The title actually comes from the introduction to the song Proud Mary that you hear Tina Turner, and from the Ike and Tina Turner Review, perform. Mm-hmm. And at the beginning, she's, you know, talking to the audience, and she's telling them that she can start this off, you know, one or two ways. It can be nice and easy, or it can be, you know, fast or rough. And then she totally contradicts herself and says, but we can only do it one way, nice, rough. And it just struck me when I heard that song. I was, you know, just listening to the music as I was researching for the film one night, and I said, that's it. That's the one thing that all of these women have in common, is that they can only do it one way. Nice and rough, because nice and rough is the whole energy of rock music, and you enjoy it and you love it, but it has this harshness to it and this wildness to it, and that's the complexity of the women the black women who would be rock performers. And I just find that fascinating, because a lot of these women have all sorts of classical training, and they have the ability to sing in any genre they want to. They could have been R&B stars, or they could have been jazz stars, or, you know, greats in other genres of music. But because they have a calling to this music, to rock, they can only do it one way. And, you know, these women are true to that, because there's easier ways to do it.
Oh, yeah.
You know, this is not an easy path. And the path itself, it speaks to the path itself as being nice and rough as well as it reflects the beauty and complexity of these ladies.
You know, every now and then I think you might like to hear something from us. Nice and easy. But there's just one thing, you see, we never ever do nothing nice and easy. We always do it nice and rough.
Tina Turner was the one. There's always the one that makes it happen.
Tina sort of broke down a lot of barriers that I had in my mind, what a black female artist could be or do or accomplish.
Black people are not supposed to play rock and roll, but actually it was where it all started. So even though you say we can't play it, obviously we can, because we're standing up here doing it.
Just give me a little bit of history, what's going on today with the community of black women in rock, because a lot of my listeners are not aware of that.
Okay, with from the work I've been doing, what I see happening with the community of black women in rock is, and through this project is, my goal is bringing this community together. Because as I go around doing interviews with black women in rock, I always ask them, how many black women in rock do you think that there are out there? And I get answers anywhere from 1 to a handful to maybe 25 is like the highest number I've ever gotten. So I think this community has no idea that each other exists. And one of my goals with this project is to unite this community and bring this community together, because I think there's power in that kind of sharing and coming together as a community of black women in rock, and to feel kind of that strength and encouragement and support from each other. So I think that, a lot of black women in rock are online and they're connected to their fans, but I want to take it a step further and connect black women in rock to each other.
Well said. All right, well, some of the women that are in your film. Joyce Kennedy from Mother's Finest.
Yes.
Saida Garrett. Wow, she's known for her relationship with Michael Jackson, her musical relationship. But this woman, she still astounds me. Cindy Blackman Santana, fantastic drummer. Used to be with Lenny Kravitz, now with Santana. Nona Hendrix, who everybody know. I ain't got to say nothing about Nona. And the grand diva herself, Betty Davis. Wow.
From a contemporary standpoint, Alicia Warrington, she's an amazing drummer. There's a Sister Ghetto Songbird out of Philadelphia. There's Tamar Colley, Honeychild Coleman. Interestingly, at an event about black women in rock, a symposium that was put on by Kedison Kai, who's a metal rocker and professor at the Berklee College of Music in Boston. She put on a symposium a few years ago, at the end of 2008, about black women in rock. And I had an opportunity to sit down with Michelle Ndegeocello, Nona Hendrix, Joyce Kennedy, who is an amazing spirit, Saida, who is known for writing all of these major hit R&B songs, but her heart is also in rock music, and even with her connections, had been unable to get a deal as a rock artist. I have connected with Betty Davis, and I'm in talks with her and hoping I'll get an in-person interview. But if I don't get the in-person interview, I know that I will have an ability to connect with her and make sure that whatever I share about her honors her and is accurate, because she's been so misrepresented in the media. I mean, the list goes on and on. Women that run the spectrum, just a whole gamut of rock, from pop rock to hard rock, all the way to punk rock and metal rock. So there's a huge variety of sisters out there rocking it.
WFD 89.1 FM. I'm speaking to Sheila Jackson Hardy. She directed this hot film called Nice and Rough, Black Women in Rock. And let me give you a little bit of sample from that. Keep your dial on lock here. We'll be right back.
With a face like mine, hair like mine, and rock music. They couldn't get their heads around that concept. And, I just didn't fit what they thought rock was, and nor did I fit, for me, what R&B is.
But I just couldn't give it up.
89.1 FM WFDU. We're back here. This is Jimy Bleu speaking. Sheila Jackson Hardy, filmmaker. We're talking about her film Nice and Rough, Black Women in Rock. And who were some of the earliest black women in rock music you can think of?
Early on, I mean, there's a legacy of rock that extends all the way back to the blues, of course.
Yeah.
And even looking at the gospel singer and electric guitarist, Rosetta Tharpe.
My girl.
Who, when you listen to her music and listen to her play that guitar, it sounds like Chuck Berry.
You know what? Let's stop right there. I used to co-host a gospel show, and I used to play her a lot.
Oh, wow.
And I used to make that point you just said. Wow, Sheila, that's so right on.
Yeah, but, I mean, just from Sister Rosetta Tharpe all the way to, you think about Memphis Minnie and people like that coming up, and Big Mama Thornton. And then you come into the 70s, and I think the 70s had a huge impact on rock music because of the Black Power movement and the women's movement kind of coinciding around that time, and women feeling like we could just express ourselves and be in control of our own sexuality. So you had Betty Davis emerge during that period, and Joyce Kennedy emerge, and Nona Hendrix making the decision to leave LaBelle to pursue a rock career. because Nona was responsible for that whole look that they had. That was really a punk rock look with the hair and the outfits that they used to wear. That was all Nona.
Good point.
And she's been a rocker through and through throughout her career, regardless of how maybe some of the public may perceive her as this R&B soul person. And she's written music for, Steven Tyler, the Talking Heads. Mm-hmm. She's an amazing songwriter in the rock genre as well. So there is a legacy of black women in rock that just has never been discussed. It's just rare and little-known stories, in terms of that history. And it's just time for it to all come out and for these women to be celebrated.
You made this a multimedia project, right?
Yes, I did. I felt that to really and truly explore this topic, I needed more than a 90-minute feature documentary, because there are so many black women in rock. There's women to discuss from a historical perspective and then from a contemporary perspective, as I mentioned earlier, just across the various subgenres of rock. There's so many women that you could include and talk to. And I felt like these women, especially with this being an unknown history, these women deserve to be celebrated on multiple platforms so that they could all be included and be a part of the dialogue about black women in rock, along with their fans and along with informing the public. So Nice and Rough is a documentary feature film. It's an online platform or community where people can come and performers and fans can join the community, create a profile. They can chat in forums. They can post their videos of their performances, their news. It's a great place to find out who the black women in rock are in your area, or just who they are in general, where they're performing, where their concerts are, and to get their news and just talk to other people who are interested. In addition to that, there will be a photo exhibition and a concert tour, and of course you have to have the jamming soundtrack. This is a global platform.
Oh, cool.
I have black women in rock everywhere from Haiti to Japan to London to Hamburg, Germany, Atlanta, Georgia, Cleveland, Ohio, and all throughout Canada. This is a global community of women.
That's great to know. I'm sure my listeners would like that. WFDU 89 Point just happened to have a sneak peek of called Nice and Rough, Black Women in Rock. And we talking about rock music. Let me give you an example of what's going on with that film. Keep the dial on lock here. 89.1 FM, WFDU.
I do it because I have to do it, because there's something in me that just calls to doing that. And I think the guys that I play with do it for that. It's a calling. I think there's always that feminine edge. I think that's why a band like the Rolling Stones is as big as they are.
There's also this undertone, this electric current that goes along with the music that you can feel. It's palpable. You can taste it. It's amazing. It's electric. I just love it. I love it. The energy of it is me. I'm not a balladeer.
It's an amazing project. I have total respect for, first of all, tackling it and doing such a nice job with what I've seen already. What is the progress of the film?
Right now, I'm currently in production. I'm almost done with the interviews stateside and looking to travel to Europe this summer. So my goal is to be in post-production by fall and to be able to get it out there to everyone in 2013.
Okay, I mentioned Joyce Kennedy, Saida Garrett, Cindy Blackman Santana, Nona Hendrix, Betty Davis. How can people get more information on the film? Is there a website and things like that?
Well, niceandrough.com is the best way. It's the online community for black women in rock and their fans, and it's also the epicenter for everything that's happening with this film and that community. Niceandrough.com.
Okay, and now look, it's not a date site. It's not. Somebody listen to say, "Ooh, I'm logging on right now." It's about the film, Nice and Rough.
Exactly.
Black women in rock. Sheila Jackson Hardy did a fantastic job with this film. I'd like to really thank you, Sheila, for spending the time with me. I appreciate it.
And I want to thank you for playing the music. I think that what you're doing is so important because we need to hear it and we need to understand that it really exists and these women really do exist.